Hello there and welcome. My name is Jonathan. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch my videos and to listen to the things I have to say. To those of you who have subscribed and you're supporting my channel, God bless you all. Thank you so much for your support. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get notified of any changes or any updates. Give me a likes or a dislike, a thumb up or a thumb down, whatever. But if you're going to leave a comment, don't be a douchebag. If you're going to react to something someone posted on these videos or a comment, please be respectful. Don't be a douchebag. I will block, shadow ban, whatever I got to do. Give your fellow Americans the credit that they deserve and the respect that they deserve for at least reaching out, either with more information, correcting me, whatever. If they structure a sentence wrong, deal with it. If misspell a word, suck it up and deal with it. Just don't be a douchebag, okay? Now, in all my videos, I have to have a disclosure. So this is for entertainment, educational purposes. Choose. I don't care. It's me giving you information for you to take a step back and look at things at a different angle and perspective. And for the love of God, think for yourself, people. Don't believe everything you hear on TV and the radio. It's all scripted. It's all edited. It's all controlled. Okay? At no time am I violating any international, federal, state, or local copyright laws. This is all public information. It's all out there. And thank God we have the Freedom of Information Act. God, dear God. Now, before I dive in to this information I'm going to be presenting to you, I want you to do me a favor. Go get your birth certificate and your social security card and set them right in front of you. Find a nice smooth surface, set them right in front of you so you can see them as I'm explaining things. Everybody can understand things if they have something in front of them and it's in their hand, a visual kind of deal, right? So go get those while I get a drink. Alright, now that you've got those, set them down, and I want to say something real quick. Pick your company. Choose who you have around you watching this video. If you have anyone around you that you think may not fully understand or grasp what I'm about to tell you, have them leave the room. If you're a mother and you're a father, this video is going to really piss you off, and it's going to prove some things that you may have heard to be a lie, misinformation, not true, false, whatever. I'm going to prove some things to you. In your face, concrete proof. You may not want your children or teenagers to hear this information. You may want to digest it and choose as a mother and father when the right time to let your children know. Prepare your children for what's to come. They are not taught this in school, nor were you. They don't want a smart society. They want a dumbed down society. They want to control everything in your life, from the clothing you wear to how you walk, you talk, what words you can and cannot use, what you can and cannot talk about, and for how long you can and can't talk about things. You get where I'm going with that? They want to control every aspect of your life. And these two particular documents, they don't want you to know what they really are. They don't. But you need to educate yourself, prepare yourself for what's about to come. Now, I'm not predicting an apocalypse or whatever, but there's a lot of people that are starting to wake up and that are starting to know what's going on. You need to be one of them, to prepare yourself, to build that foundation for you to stand upon so you can be with the others and stand right beside them and know what's going on and know how what they're doing to you, to be able to fight back, get your facts straight, get your documents in order, okay? They've got a paper trail. And now that there's the internet, it's in the internet, okay? So choose your company wisely is just what I'm trying to get at. If you plan on sharing this information, choose wisely. Dear God, there are just some people you cannot help. You just cannot. If it's not out there for them to see on a daily basis and hear every single day, they're not going to believe it. You could put the proof right in front of their face and they will not believe it for many reasons. They were just so brainwashed, they're unable to keep an open mind and to step back and see what's really going on, what's real and what's not real. You know where I'm going with this, okay? So just choose your company wisely. Now, let's dive in to what this video is about. Your Social Security card and your birth certificate. And I'm going to debunk some things. There's a lot of misinformation out there, so be very careful where you get your information and always question everybody, including me. Compare your information, okay? And there's a lot of amazing individuals out there who for years have been trying to get people to wake up and learn what's going on. And a lot of bad things have happened to a lot of damn good people out there. And it's messed up. It is so messed up. So here we go to some websites. Now remember, all these websites I will be showing you are going to be in the description below for you to take a look at your own time. So pay attention, and do not waste my time, and take notes. Let's first start with the United States codes. Okay, there's a lot of shady shit in here. And there's a lot of truth and evidence to prove what a lot of people's talking about is going on. These are commercial codes. Okay? They're not God's law, common law, law of the land. These are commercial codes. And here's a comparison. Cornell Law School Legal Information Institute. I just want you to have a comparison, okay? So now we're going to go back. For the sake of this video, write this down. You got all these titles. You're going to go to Title 42, Chapter 7, Subchapter 2. That's Title 42, Chapter 7, Subchapter 2. Then scroll to 405. When you click on 405, a new window will open up and it will look like this. Okay? Now for the sake of this video, we're just going to keep scrolling, you and I, all the way down till we see a particular letter. And that's going to be G. Now, the dismiss information out there is that your card is nothing but a card. There's nothing sinister about your Social Security card. There's nothing negative. They're not using it against you. It's just you're partying or agreeing to be a participant in a government or federal program. And by doing that, you receive benefits, even though it's not guaranteed. Okay? And that it's just a piece of paper. That's all. Like I said, there's nothing sinister, right? Well, there are two things that are sinister about it. So, the Commissioner of Social Security shall issue a Social Security card to each individual at the time of the issuance of a Social Security account number to such individual. There you go. It is in the United States codes, and it is an account number. There you go. There's in-your-face proof. That's in their codes. The Social Security card shall be made on banknote paper. Now this is where you will hear a word or someone saying this word, monetized. You've been monetized. Banknote paper is a specific type of paper used for specific things, instruments, okay? And we will go back to these websites again. Now, Google this, whatever. Banknote. What is a banknote? A banknote is a type of negotiable promissory note, okay? So there's your Federal Reserve notes. Those are banknotes. They're a promise to pay. You're using those to pay for services, taxes, dues, etc. You get it? It's a banknote. It's a promise to pay. And then by using those, you're paying interest on those, which is a system of debt. But here you go. Bam. Read this and try to understand it. Keep that in the back of your mind, because I will be bringing that up in this video again. Next, what is United States currency? Now, you could have looked this up on the United States codes, but I did it on Cornell Law School. The United States coins, currencies, including Federal Reserve notes and circulating notes of the Federal Reserve banks and national banks, are legal tender for all debts, public charges, taxes, and dues. Think about that. Anytime you have a debt to a bank, you have to use Federal Reserve notes to pay that debt. Public charges, gas, food, whatever, buying a car, buying a home, you're having to use this fiat currency that is worth nothing. Taxes, federal and state taxes, what do you use? You use those Federal Reserve notes. They don't allow you to walk up and pay with silver or gold. They regulate gold to keep it high to where it could never be in the hands of the people, because that's real wealth. Silver, now I collect silver, so silver is the only thing that you can really get your hands on, or copper. These are precious metals. So I just wanted you to look at that, take a step back and keep reading that, and some things will come up in your mind. Trust me, they did with me. Now here's that word monetize. Now my funny story on this is I was having a conversation with a guy, and we were talking for months, and I finally got him pinned, and we were able to eat and hang out, and he was discussing some things and answering some of my questions. He wasn't answering all of them, but he was explaining to me about the financial structure, the financial system of America. And this goes beyond America. It's global, people. So we got to talking, and he kept throwing this word out, and it kept confusing me, and I'm like, I've never heard of it. I don't know the definition. But he says, look, you idiot, you've been monetized. He says, everything has been monetized. Land, water, natural resources, your children, you, your car, your home, everything has been monetized and turned into an asset, a financial asset. It's been monetized. It has a value to it, and it gets sold. And I'm like, what? He says, you have been monetized. You have a a value, okay, a money value. And I've been looking to see exactly where it says that every human being born and neutralized in America is worth X amount of money. So if you can help me out with that, please let me know, and I'll redo this video and add it. But what does monetize mean? Monetize refers to the process of turning a non-revenue generating item into cash, essentially liquidating an asset or an object. Now, you really need to read this a couple of times. It refers to the process of turning a non-revenue generating item into cash. Look at everything around you. They're taking dirt and monetizing it, turning it into an asset, an object to make money off of. And your life, you are an asset or an object. That's how they look at you. They are declaring ownership of you. And I'll prove that to you in this video, okay? Assets have owners. Objects have owners. Property, etc. Read this website. This will enlighten you as to the meaning and just the understanding of monetization. Really need to look into that. Next website. Now, let's talk a little bit more about your Social Security account number. Now, I got two websites which will prove without a reasonable doubt that those numbers are spaced for a reason. It's an account number, yes, but it has structure. It has a meaning, and every digit has a purpose. The first 3 digits of your Social Security account number identifies where you were born. That's right, what state in America you were born. And then there's your group number and etc. This will help you out and show proof and to back up what I'm telling you. Next one is the same thing, but it goes into a little bit more detail. Okay? So this you really need to take a look at and read it on your own time. Next one. If this is the pictures, which is what I think it is, I'm going to be spinning. Oh, okay, no. This comes from the official website of the Social Security Administration. So I was just curious, and for this video, wanted to see how many types of Social Security cards there are. There's 3. Take a look at that. Next website. Now, okay, here's the pictures. Now, I'm going to be spending a little bit time on this, so pay attention and follow along. You and I are used to a particular type of a Social Security card, and the pictures keep moving around on me. There we go, right here. This is what you and I are used to. Here's the back of your card, which has, man, and there's not a better one. No, there's not a better one. That sucks. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. But over here, there is a letter and a series of numbers. For some reason in red ink. That used to be all digits. But people caught on to that and they just put a letter there to confuse people. That letter corresponds to a number. Look that up on your own time. Okay, and that follows you on the United States stock market. Here is your front of your card. Notice that there's 2 pillars and it's supporting an arch or whatever you want to call it with the word Social Security. What does the word social mean? And what is a security? You need to think about that and look at that. Now that you know this is on banknote paper, okay? So ask yourself, what's on banknote paper? Checks are banknote paper. They're highly regulated. They're watermarked. It's a particular type of paper with symbolism in it to help prevent counterfeiting. Okay, the only banknote paper are used for certain instruments. This is one of them. This is what ties you to the Federal Reserve and ties you to the United States Corporation. Here you will have a seal, more symbolism. Here you will have your account number, your name, and then your signature. Now, you got to ask yourself, what's up with my name in all caps? Well, I will explain. A lot in the past, these old ones here used to be correct. Okay, you will have like this one here, Social Security Act, account number. They got rid of the act, Social Security, but they left account number. They don't want you to know that it is an account number, because if it's an account number and you're required to put money in that account, that's your money. You are the sole beneficiary of that money. It's yours, right? Oh, hell no. They don't want you to know that and try to access it, because that's their money that they're stealing from the fruits of your labor and claiming that its sole purpose is to benefit you. Well, then why not just require every American to open up an account for retirement purposes, and you're not allowed to touch it until you're a certain age. But then again, what happens when your money is in an account? It earns interest. That's right. So that's your interest, right? Oh, hell no. That's their profit. So you will see your name in proper grammar, which matches your birth name. Now, let's go back to this, and I will explain. Right here is something you will be hearing a lot of people talk about in your journey to the truth. This is your straw man, people. This is your fictitious entity. This individual or this entity does not exist. It's lost at sea, dead. It's a fictitious. It does not exist. The only thing that's keeping this thing alive is you using it. This is your medium between the federal government and all the corporations and agencies. This is how they tie you in. This is how they're able to do what they do to we the living people. Really trippy, right? So let me tell you a little story. If you're a business person and you've ever wanted to run your own business and you wanted to incorporate it to protect you from certain types of lawsuits, people can sue the company and its assets, but they can't come after you, the living, breathing human being, and your assets. Okay? Only the company and the company's assets. So, in order to protect you, you have to fill out an application with your state to copyright yourself. So what they do is it's all they do is they take your company, your club, your business, whatever, and they capitalize the name of it. Boom, you've just been incorporated. Then notice that there's a structure, a president, a vice president, a treasurer. These are three crucial positions. There's the president, there's the vice president, but then there's the person or individual responsible for the financial, the money part of it, the treasurer. What does the United States government have? The United States Treasury Department, right? So you get your president, your vice president, your treasury, etc. So that's all they do is they capitalize every human being that's involved and that has a position of authority and responsibility. And there is your company. Okay? So it's the same thing. This is property of the government. They created this identity. And you're agreeing that that is you, and that's how they get you hook, line, and sinkered. Bam. This is a contract. And I will pause and pop up the video so you can see my face. And I have a book for you to enlighten you on that. So remember, this is a contract. Now, hopefully I've opened your eyes. Next. How Social Security numbers work. I just wanted you guys to have a visual, just to have something to look at and read. Check it out. Type that in yourself. Now, here is a map of the United States. Here's our country. God bless America, right? We're one of a kind. And it's been one hell of a ride to get where we are now. Look how it's broken down in different colors. And what you don't or probably never heard, or you may have heard it and just didn't catch it. These are what's called regions. In your search to the truth, you will hear a lot of talk about regions. Well, this is how the United Nations, the One World Order, and our governments look at states. They don't look at states as independent states. They clump us together in regions. There's many reasons why they do this. Because of the geographic of it, the resources, etc., the population, the lifestyle, whatever. They break it down into regions. The Federal Reserve Bank, however, does this because it cannot operate in just one location. It has to branch out. And each branch is responsible for so many states. Get it? So there you go. And these numbers that you see here correspond to something. Look into that. Next website. Oh, here's a doozy for you guys. Alright. Who owns you? Some disturbing facts that affect everyone. This is an in-your-face proof. Good luck debunking it. Court cases. Legal definitions. Now, in your search, as you go through one website to another and videos, you will hear Black Law's dictionary a lot. Well, guess what? This is what the lawyers do, or use, and the politicians. They don't just use Webster Dictionary and all that other crap. They use law, legal definitions. The older the Black Law dictionaries are, the more accurate they are, and they tell you the truth. A lot of the newer editions, they're trying to manipulate and delete and edit things so you don't know what it really means. This is why every contract that you sign, every legal document, every act of Congress, every executive order, codes, statutes, and ordinances confuse you, because they use words in a manner to do that, but to defraud you, to get you to consent to something without fully understanding, and using words where you think you know what it means and you don't. Now, this will prove a lot. This is a must read. Now, copy and paste these in your web browser, and it'll bring up the cases right up, and you can read them yourself. Very good website, amazing videos and archive. You can find a lot of information on the site. Really well done. Next one. Come on. I do apologize, my internet's slow. Now this website brings up like a PDF version of this document. Okay, this is law. It's in there. And this tells you when it was implemented. 1997, March the 4th. By who? Clinton. Okay? You really need to read this. I'm just going to move on. Next one. Now, here's the word capital. You need to understand what the word capital means. Capital is a term for financial asset. You've been monetized. You're an asset to your government, both state and federal. You are not recognized for what you are as a living, breathing human being. God's children. God is the main owner. He owns everything because He created everything. And God sacrificed His own Son for us to walk amongst men, to enlighten people. And He knew that His Son would die. That's some serious shit right there. Sending your Son as a messenger and then knowing what was going to happen. But anyways, moving on. But you are an asset, an object, a financial object, an asset to them. For them to, an asset has an owner. And if you're catching where I'm getting at, let me throw another bombshell at you. Do you believe slavery was really abolished? Take a step back and think about that. Slavery was never abolished. If you look at the Constitution, it doesn't say in simple words that all human ownership is illegal and forbidden. All forms of human ownership. That can mean many things. Turning people into an asset, turning people into property, claiming you own someone. You get it? It doesn't state anything like that. They rewrote it in a very confusing way, but if you look at the words, and now that you hear, I told you about Black Law's dictionary, if you ever read anything in the Constitution and it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense, and it's written in a way that has a different purpose, and they don't want you to know. Look at the words. See if there's a legal definition behind it. See if it has more meaning to it than what you think it has. And you'll be amazed. But back to this website, Capital. Look into that, understanding capital. You really need to look into that. Now, should be getting here close to your birth certificate. Okay, here's something, and I've got two websites about DCF. Okay, if you're a mother and you're a father and you've ever had to deal with DCF, there's some fundamental things that you need to understand about DCF. DCF is a federal agency. It is a for-profit corporation. Okay, it is not a non-profit corporation. It is a for-profit corporation. This company and its agents, okay, and this company has particular people in powers of position, and they're structured as a business. They are controlled by the federal government, Congress, okay, United States Corporation. They write the rules. This shows you without a reasonable doubt that they are financially controlled. They have to use certain funds for certain things, and they always have to report back to the Treasury, okay, and the federal government. They make money for every child they rip from their homes. They're making money off of it. But what does all this mean? This just shows you that they are regulating and controlling parents, which I don't like saying parents, because parents takes your God-given rights away and makes you nothing but a mere guardian. Okay, you're there to just protect, defend, raise their property, their assets, their slaves. You'll hear people say cattle or sheep. Okay? That's all you are to them. But there's a lot of words in here that are going to jump out at you that you really need to look at. But this is going to probably help you understand, and it's going to prove some things to you, okay? But it is a for-profit corporation, and it is controlled and manipulated by the federal government and the states for commercial purposes. That's right, commercial. Next site. Now, surprise, the Fed owns you. So let's pause these websites for a minute, and let's go back here so you can see me. All right. So let's do a recap. So now I've proven to you that Social Security card is more than what you think it is. And I'm debunking some things. 1, that is an account number. 2, that is not just some stupid business card, regular paper. No, it is printed on banknote paper, which makes it a financial instrument. These are terms that you need to understand, or words, and the way they're used. Anything in law that you sign, or any document that is proving something, is an instrument in law. Evidence is an instrument. Get it? So, now you know it is on banknote paper, which makes it a financial asset. What's the asset? You are. You're the asset. The federal government created your strawman, a fictitious entity that is dead, lost at sea, does not exist. And they're claiming ownership of it because you haven't claimed ownership of it and shown that you know what it is. So, if you don't, then they will and reap the benefits of it. You signed your name, and you can test to the validity of that document, that contract, and agree to the terms and conditions of that contract. And in return, you receive a card in the mail with your identity altered. And that is your medium. That is your straw man. That's how the government can take control over you, the living, breathing human being. Corporations and companies can't do business with human beings. They have to do business with businesses. This is why on your bills, your credit card statements, your federal and state documents, and your court documents, notice how they capitalize you and the state if the state is suing you or a company is suing you, because it is a business suing a business. Just saying. So now, hopefully, you've got your mind wrapped around what that really is. Now, before we go into your birth certificate, here's a book I want to show you. Now, I got this online, and it was a student's book. That's right, a student's book. So there were some very interesting things highlighted in here. So this is the Law of Contracts and the Uniform Commercial Code. So let's break that down. The Law of Contracts. Okay, contracts. Okay, yeah, I know what a contract is. No, you don't. Okay. What you think is a contract is like, say, a bank loan. You go to a bank and they explain things to you somewhat, and you're signing off that you understand to the validity of that, and you're accepting the terms and conditions. You get where I'm going with that? You're thinking of that kind of a contract, one that you have to sign. There's common law contracts between men. Okay, you grab a piece of paper, you have someone notarize it, someone to witness the contract being signed. It is used in simple words. There's nothing sinister about it. Say, I'm selling you a used car as is for $500. You, Joe Blow, agree to paying me $500 for a used car as is. Done deal. Okay? There's your contract. Common law contract between men. Now, there's commercial contracts. That's what you really need to look into. And everything around you, including everything that you do, they have commercialized. So you are pretending to be this company conducting commerce on America's soil, in America. So anytime you do anything, this is what's really weird. You go to a utility place and you need electricity. You're signing your name in proper grammar, in cursive, okay? But what they've done is they've automatically incorporated you, and you're agreeing that that's you, and they're doing business through that entity, but that's not you, right? So why didn't you challenge it? Just saying. But there's commercial contracts. So one of the disturbing things that, oh dear God, that really boils my blood, and I want to explain about contracts, and I'll do it the best that I can. Say, for instance, you need to go get gas, right? And you're outside in the boonies, and you go to the nearest city that's got it. Well, notice how the city has borders. They have jurisdiction, control, which jurisdiction is nothing but ownership. It's owning and controlling. A company is declaring ownership of land and declaring the right to regulate and profit from everything in that land. Okay? By you traveling, which they turned it around and call it driving now, by you traveling into their territory, you are now agreeing to their terms and conditions, what they want to call laws, their rules. But once you leave, they have no jurisdiction over you, right? Exactly. Get where I'm going with that? That's a contract, a form of contract. By you just doing it, you're agreeing, regardless. But now, if you don't say anything about it, then, well, I'm sorry, but you just agreed. But that's where they get you. But look into commercial contracts and you'll see. Now, next thing, the Uniform Commercial Code. Dear God, this is the Bible for commerce. This is what sets the stage and holds everybody accountable who wants to do business around the world. Uniform Commercial Codes. What does the United States codes look like? Commercial codes. Is this sinking in? It's commercial codes. There you go. Come on. Hopefully, you're getting where I'm going with this. And if you're in the know and you're watching this, bear with me. There's some people that just... you know what my frustration. But they're commercial codes. Okay? And that affects every aspect of your life. From getting gas, to going to the grocery store, to buying a home, to buying a vehicle, to buying land, etc. Putting clothes, everything. It's in there. Now, in this particular book, the author wanted you to know about 3 particular acts that relates to everything that I'm telling you and everything around you. Let me open up the book and tell you the magic acts. 1. The Negotiable Instrument Act. Let me repeat that. The Negotiable Instrument Act. Remember I said everything in law that is used against you and everything with your name, contracts, everything is an instrument. Negotiable instrument. What is considered a negotiable instrument? 2, the Sales Act, okay, which goes to commerce. The Sales Act. 3, this is where your birth certificate comes in. The Bill of Ladings Act. The Bill of Ladings Act. Remember that. Now, this is going to blow your freaking mind if I haven't already. Surprise! The Fed owns your ass. You do not own yourself. The Federal Reserve does. By Gary. Okay? This is a rabbit hole he accidentally stepped in. And was not prepared in what he found out. There is some really crucial information right from the get-go, people. What does he talk about? After only 20 years, things went bad to worse. During Franklin D. Roosevelt's presidency, in 1933, the U.S. was unable to pay its debts. The country was bankrupt. Now, this is a lot. You will hear a lot of people talk about there was a lot of shady shit that took place in the background amongst these rich and wealthy people in the federal government, not just in 1933, but there was a lot of things that led us up to this point that they kept out of sight of the general people, the human beings, because they didn't want them to know about it. So they had to lie, make false statements, and say things in a way that would not create another revolutionary war. Okay? They could not afford this. So they had to lie and deceive and commit fraud against the people. So everything went to shit after 1933. And I'm coming up with a timeline that there are a lot of things that got up to 1933 and then the things that was implemented after 1933. But once you find out what Chapter 11 bankruptcy is and learn about it compared to the other types of bankruptcy, you'll kind of understand and how that affects us and what took place in agencies that was created, acts of Congress, etc., to enslave us all. Remember, slavery was never abolished. This is a really good freaking website for you to read. Now, here's, like again, I'm a visual person. Here is a visual for you. This is something what a birth certificate of live birth looks like. This is what it looks like, people. This is the monetized version. It's on banknote paper, which now that you know, if anything is put on banknote paper, it is monetized. It is a financial asset or financial instrument. And okay, it can be sold, it can be traded, bartered with, whatever. Whatever is on this bond is now property. You've been enslaved. What is a certificate? A lot of people think, a certificate is just completing things like going through high school all the way to graduation, and you're given a certificate of completion, a diploma, right? Which is a certificate of completion. No, a certificate is a title of ownership. It is something that is owned. What is owned? You are. Your mother, your father are owned. They are incorporated. Their identities have been changed without their full consent. So this, you will see a lot of symbolism. You will see numbers. Some have barcodes. They don't want you to see that. So whenever you ask a request for a copy of your live birth, all they give you is this information right here with a different type of paper with your state seal. That's all they do, people. They don't want you to see what's really going on, and they sure as hell don't want you seeing America Banknote Company, a company that makes banknotes, or whatever company that makes banknote. They don't want you to know that this is printed on banknote paper, which turns it into a financial asset. You are an asset. You have an owner, and someone is declaring ownership of you. Now, what you don't understand is what this is right here. Remember, I referred to the Bill of Ladings Act? What is a bill of lading? It is an invoice of goods that has been transported and delivered. So, your mother and your father and your mother are the companies. They manufactured you. They produced you. You are the object, the goods that was produced. Who is delivering you? Your mother. She is the vessel that is carrying you. Who received you? Your doctor, like a dock master. Where were you received at? The hospital, just like the dock. Okay? So, now, hopefully this has enlightened you. You've got your weight of the item that was produced. You've got certain aspects of it. And now here, this is where they take the human side of it. Is it a boy or a girl? You know, and other aspects. But, you know, you get where I'm going with this. Okay? You have been monetized. Next one. Now, this is another website that goes over your birth certificate. This gives you dates, times, events. I just want you to have a comparison from this one to this one. And you can clearly see what they're trying to tell you. Next one. Now this goes to DCF, okay? This is them regulating the adoption of foster children. Take a look at that. That may be useful to you. But what is it? It's them regulating life, regulating human beings. Do you get the big picture? Next website. Come on. Oh, dear Lord. I might want to click on all these and make sure they're refreshing. There we go. Okay. Make sure I'm on the right one. Yep. Alright, now, before I go on to this, let's go back to your birth certificate. Now, I'm going to throw something trippy at you real quick before I go moving on. And this just came across my mind. I have got to tell you this. When this was explained to me, it was with some rich, wealthy people that were in the know. Anytime you have money, you know more than us poor people, apparently. But I got sucked into their conversation. And this guy looks at me, and as these other three were talking, and he said, "Son, listen to me. What you're about to hear is the truth. What we're talking about are not lies. It's real, and it's what's really going on. Is that things are not what they appear to be. Forget what you've been raised up to believe. Forget what you've been taught in school and in college. Have you gone to college?" I'm like, "No, I can't afford that." He says, "Shit, it's a waste of your time because it doesn't guarantee you a job. Only experience. Hands-on training does. But it looks good on your resume." But he says, things are not what they appear to be. So what you're about to hear, all these other people that are surrounded by us, they already know. And they're the enemies. They are demons. They are the ones that know and are monopolizing it, making money from it. And they don't want you to know. I'm like, "Well, why are you helping me?" He says, "Well, because we're not like them." Do you see us socializing with them? No. He goes, but then the conversation got on to somehow kids. And then the conversation got on to birth certificates. And I said, I keep hearing you guys refer to birth certificate. He goes, the first two things that they use to enslave you is your Social Security card and your birth certificate. He says, do you know anything about your birth certificate? I said, no, other than it proves where I was born. He said, no, there's a lot of sinister shit about it. He goes, and they use words throughout generations and use what's called wordplay or magic, making you think it means one thing, but it really means something totally different. And once you find out what it is, it's going to really piss you off. He says, imagine this, okay? You are the goods. You were produced. I'm like, okay. He says, your mother and your father have already been incorporated. They are the companies that produced you. Your mother is the vessel. She is the ship, right? You weren't manufactured on land. You were manufactured in a womb, surrounded by water, in water. You were at sea. You were not on the ground. You travel through a birth canal. Well, what do ships do? They go through canals. What are canals made of? Water. I'm like, whoa. He said, yes. You getting it? He says, so what does a ship do when it goes up to a dock? It's what's called birth. He says, it sits out there in the water. It just doesn't slowly go up to the dock. No, there's a process that a ship that is transporting goods must follow before it is docked. Who received you? The doctor. Where were you received? The hospital. The hospital is the dock. The dock master is your doctor. Get it? I'm like, oh my God, whoa. He says, yes. Your mother is the one that birthed you. She was the ship transporting the goods. You know, take it for what it is. Let that go in your mind a little bit, you know. And I'm like, whoa, he just completely blew my mind. But I wanted to share that with you. So let's go back to these, okay? So remember, your parents are the manufacturers of the goods, which is you. Your mother is the vessel. She's the one that is carrying you, transporting you. She delivered you. You were birthed at the hospital. Delivered at the hospital. The dock master is who delivered you. You were received at the hospital. You were delivered at the hospital. Got it? Then you have all this other stuff. Hope that gets your mind going. Now, in your journey to the truth, you will also eventually, you will come across this. This was an act in 1666. Now, I am not going to say this because I'll sound like a dipshit and my West Virginia speech will come out. And if you're from West Virginia, you will know that their words blend in, especially if you're from the country. So this is trippy. This is really, really trippy, but it has a hidden truth that pertains to you right now. And why you are always having to re-sign contracts, renewal things. Next one. Now, in your journey, you're going to be coming across a lot of websites that's going to explain things and help you understand things and help you exit out, gain control, make them know what's going on. This is one of them. I just want you to have a visual, something to compare other websites with. Next one. Let me scroll up. Your birth certificate or Federal Reserve notes. Once again, it is put on banknote paper, which the federal banks control. So that means it is a federal banknote. Okay? Your certificate is a title of ownership. Who do they own? Well, they own your mother. They own your father. They own the goods, which you are. They own the hospital. They own the doctors. Get it? So, you are the goods that was produced, and they are declaring ownership of you. I'm going to show you something else that's going to prove that. But here's another really good website that will explain a lot. Please read these. And remember, the descriptions or these web links will be in the description below for you to go back to. Next website. Now, I wanted an easy to understand website for you, proving my point and giving you a legal document to view, print out, and highlight, do whatever. This was brought to my attention by someone who's wealthy and in the know. And we were having a conversation about property, private property versus, government or commercial property. And he just started laughing. Look up Senate Document 43. And it's proof of what I'm about to tell you. So he told me, and I said, bullshit. I did not just bust my ass, get myself thousands of dollars in debt, bust my ass to pay it off, and it's supposed to be my property, but it's not. I don't own it after I've worked hard for it. He said, exactly. That's the big scam. They want you to be in debt to the bankers to buy something that doesn't belong to you to begin with so that they can make a profit. So not only do the banks make a profit because they gave you the loan, but so don't the state. Sales tax. So both parties benefit from that debt. And then they get to regulate and make profit off of your property. But is it really your property? As a United States citizen, look up what the definition of a United States citizen is. You'll be shocked. It's in the United States codes. Or a person. Look up what the legal definition of person is. It's not a human being or an individual. It is a partnership, a corporation. So what are they referring to you as? Did you know that you do not legally own anything? That's right. You do not legally own your land, your home, your car, your clothes, your money, your name, your body, or even your children. By law of the state, they belong to the state. This is why government agencies can legally take your kids and property and throw you in jail for violating their rules they call laws. This will prove some serious things to you. This will prove a lot. Read that. But moving on. Now, I'm going to do this one more time before the end of this video. Now, I've told you to choose who's watching this with you. I'm going to give you proof now of where, and it's probably in other documents too, but I'm just showing you this one because this is the one that was presented to me by accident. This is going to be a punch in the gut to knock the wind right out of you. This is going to be a bitch slap to knock some sense and some reasoning into you. This is going to open your eyes and drop your jaw. So get ready. Here we go. Choose who's watching this with you, please. Let me get rid of these stupid ads. Executive Order 13037. This is an executive order. Who can do executive orders? Think about that. Google that. Find out who did it. Executive Order 13037 defines humans as property, capital. Remember, assets, objects. You are a financial asset. They are declaring ownership. The federal government is declaring ownership of all life, all human beings. This goes back to Agenda 21 and the United Nations to control and regulate all life, resources, land, everything. Not you, your government, etc. Dissolves all sovereignty. But here you go. Right there. What are those words, people? There you go. What does it say? Including ownership by the federal government or some other entity. What other entity are they talking about? See, this is where they don't want to tell the truth. The federal government is declaring ownership of you or some other entity. Who are the other entities that are declaring ownership of you? Well, if we declared bankruptcy in 1933, then that means we owe someone money, and those individuals now own you. Get it? So, there's proof, people. There's the bombshell. Next one. Now, this is a really good website. And I'm going to first... Let's see, did I do? Yeah, okay. So, if you click on this one here, it explains the bankruptcy deal. And it's got some amazing videos and other information for you to compare. And all I can say is good luck debunking it. Now, I just want to forewarn you. These are some awesome, outstanding videos. Well done. But YouTube is blocking and censoring certain information because they don't want you to know. They want to control what is talked about. Isn't that against our freedom of expression, freedom of speech? But look at that. Next one. Your name in all capital letters. Now, this is called capitis something maximum. I can't even pronounce the middle part of it. But that's what it's called when they change your status. They change your value, your worth. When you are incorporated, that means your worth, your value is more than the common person, common individual or human being. Isn't that fucked up? It changes your status, your worth. There's that word, strawman. What do you mean I am a strawman? A strawman represents the living dead. That entity, that individual does not exist. It's dead, lost at sea. This will explain a lot to you people. Look at that. Driver's license, car registration, certificates of birth, concealed pistol licenses, fishing licenses, voter's card, social security cards, car titles, hunting license. Get it? These are some really good websites and videos to look at, which will explain a lot. And this one right here does an outstanding job. You really need to look at this. Explains a lot better than I can, in a way that you can easily understand. Really good. Now, when you go to those websites and click around, you will come across this. Birth certificate and credit. Background and framework. Dear God, this is something you must print out and read and read and read. This explains a lot, breaks it down, and I'm sorry this may be boring to you, but you have to have some kind of grasp of our history and what really took place behind closed doors. What they really did not want their property, their assets, the human beings, the Americans, to know what was going on and why they did the things that they did. They lied to people to get them to consent and to brainwash them into sacrificing their life to fight on their behalf to achieve their agendas or goals, their plans. People died for fucking nothing. And that's a hard thing to say. And a lot of people are going to criticize me on that, and I'm ready for it. But when you're fighting a war and you're told it's one thing, but it's for something else, and it's not for what you're being told, that is fraud. Innocent people are dying for something that they shouldn't be fighting for. Say, for instance, another country's oil or their resources, which are not our resources. Just saying. This one here. Uniform Commercial Code. This is something I want you to look at and to understand. And this will explain a lot and will give you legal definitions of certain words. These words are going to pop out at you. Write them down, because you're going to start remembering that you've seen it in this document. You've seen it in this. You've seen it on that. You've seen it here. You've seen it there. That's right. It's commercial codes. Okay? You really need to take a look at that. Now I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to wrap this video up, okay? Now, I do apologize. I gotta have a freaking drink. Now, I've thrown a lot at you, and I've told you and showed you proof of what is going on with your Social Security card. Now I've showed you more information and what your birth certificate really is, and the wording and why they use the wording that they do, okay? Because it has more of a meaning than what you think it does, okay? This is a lot of information, and trust me, I've put my magical wall of bullshit up, and I've tried to block and filter the bullshit and just get to the truth. And let me tell you, it took me a long time to accept and to try to fact check everything. But these individuals who have presented themselves and who have shown you the truth, trying to get it out there, these are individuals that are not just making videos and trying to make themselves look like dipshits. They're showing you proof, facts, evidence of what they're telling you is real. It's not a conspiracy like the media and the government wants you to think. So when you hear bits and pieces of information from people, it's probably because they know bits and pieces of it, but they don't see the big picture. What I'm trying to do in my own way, like many others, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing, it's just to show you the bigger picture and put the pieces together so that way you can see the big picture, okay? And understand what's really going on and how it affects you, your children, and your future generations. I want you to have a solid foundation to stand on, okay? So that you can stand with others and be in the know as to what's going on. Now remember, at no fault of your own, you were never explained this. This was never in the history books. You were never taught this in school. They want a dumbed down society. You're going to hear a lot of people say that. They want sheep, for you to be obedient, to never question, to go along with everything they say and do, and consent, to never stand your ground. Notice how whenever you're standing your ground, they want to beat the shit out of you, handcuff you, torture you, think that they have the God-given right to take your freedom away when you've committed no crimes to society, human beings, the people around you. You've never defrauded anybody. You've never stolen or damaged private or public property. You've committed no crimes. None at all. But apparently, when you contract with these agencies in the government, somehow in these contracts, going to vote, getting a driver's license, bringing children into this world, etc., you're contracting your God-given rights away. And that's not what's supposed to be going on. They work for us. Notice that we are consistently, generation after generation, at freaking war with our states, our counties, and even the federal government. They keep making all these statutes and codes to regulate and control everything you say and do, taking your God-given right to make the decisions on your own away from you into the hands of a small group of human beings that think they rule the freaking world. And that's not what we are about. So hopefully I'm throwing some things at you and I'm getting your mind, piquing your curiosity, getting you to think for yourself. I hope you've liked this video. You give me a thumbs up, you subscribe, and you hit the bell icon. I want to thank you all so very, very much for watching these videos and listening to the things I say. I'm not going to throw myself out there and look like a complete buffoon if I don't have my facts and evidence to present to you. I'm not going to do it. So this is my way of keeping this information alive, and I'm hoping that this spreads like wildfire. This just spreads. And share this with your friends and family. But once again, choose who you do. Talk to them first before you show. Now, before I end this real quick, I got to give a shout out to two particular individuals. One, if you look on YouTube and you type in the search "Born on 9/11," great guy. He's got a gift to explain things to people in a way that any Tom, Dick, and Harry can understand. This man has just got a gift. Please reach out to him and support his channel and support him for what he does. Two, when you start your journey, you're going to get to a point where, okay, now I know all this. How do I fight back? How do I get out of this system and take ownership and control of me, my children, etc.? Well, I finally found a guy that has got his shit together and is mainstreaming this shit. And he's a lawyer, and he gives you his number. Just don't call him at night, people, okay? He's got a life. He's a human being. But he will answer your questions. He will help you. He will help you in court cases as well. This guy has got his shit down. Now, remember, he don't like bullshitters. He will put you in your place. Now, there's a lot of people that he agrees with on certain things and he doesn't agree with. And there's a lot of disinformation, and there's just a lot of people that are kind of a little confused on how to do things properly. But he will explain how to get out of the system. And when you go on YouTube to look for him, or just on the internet, look for this: his advocacy. His advocacy. Okay? It's a non-profit business that he has, and he is a business because, you know, the time, the energy that he puts into it, and the things that he does. You know, it is a business. Just, you get where I'm going with that. But Born on 9/11 and his advocacy. Okay? Reach out to those. And I hope you liked this video again. And this is the end of it. So God bless you all. And I wish you all the best. Please take care of yourselves. Be safe. And try to be considerate towards others. A basic level of respect, people. Take care. And God bless. Thank you.